Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? Hang on. Are you right? You should be. Oh, is that Jim? Well, it's Easter Monday. You've probably had a day off. I certainly well hope you have. Like, this is one of the great Mondays to wake up as well. It's like, I've already had a long weekend and I still don't have to work like today. Usually. Unless you're me. That's right. I'm your host, James Clemens, here in Larry Yama Studios. We're back from the beach. Spent a bloody extra half hour because of the traffic. That was awesome. Anyway, awesome array of game ones in the bag. So today, after we did our Quickie Sunday show yesterday, we're going to fly through all of the game wraps again from today's games. But mostly, I just want to go through each of them and go, what have we learned from game one of each of these playoff series? We also got the awards finalists announced. We've got some snubs. We've got some Aussies involved. You love that. It's all going on. We've also got our usual gear. That's not a knife, old mate, no mate, Spud of the night, better than Lonzo ball, the magic tweet of the week, the dickhead of the weekend. I got some YNRs, the unpopular opinion of the day, and OUTBACK Takehouse. We're serving up a flame grill take. There's an Andrew Gaze, Grey Mumber Award, the Australian Player Watch, and a pick and preview for the Game 2s tomorrow. How good is that? Might finish up with the daily review as well. We'll see how we go. All right, that'll do us then. Let's get into it. Episode 1251 of NBA Straya. Oh, let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Mick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shack attack.
You better. Especially if you're like the cooks at the TNT offices, whatever. I like my NBA commentariat to actually know what the hell they're talking about. And yeah, the more you watch Inside the NBA, and the more Shaq, you're just like, what are we doing here? Hey, anyway, let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Australia, usually with Jim having a whinge, but I've had a good weekend. Very chill hanging out with the fam. Let's start with the whip around. Isn't it nice to have all the bells and whistles back and even me screwing up and not turning it up all the way? Let's do that again. Whip around. Nailed it. First time. Woo. Hey, we've got some awards. Finalists. That's right. Remember how they now announce all the NBA awards, the final 3 for each of them to build up anticipation? Sure. Shall we go through them all? Yeah, we better. Hey, MVP. That's a fun one. Giannis, SGA, and Nikola Jokic. No surprises there. Very good ones. Very, very fine top 3. Also, none from America. Remember, SGA's Canadian. Most improved player, Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, the Man of Steel, the Bendigo Bandito, Cade Cunningham, and Ivica Zubac. Now, if you've listened to NBA Australia on the reg for a while, you understand that my entire approach to most improved player is anyone in the top 3 picks, or even really the top 5 picks of a draft, should be banned from winning the most improved player award. It's not the most living up to what we thought you were going to be award. And even then, Cade's jump from last year has even just statistically, it's like he is the dude now. He is a dude. He's awesome. He's not most improved. Dyson goes absolutely whack. Even Zoobs is a bit weird. He's been around for a million years. He was also really fucking good. It's not the, I didn't pay attention to this guy last year and now I'm only just realizing it award. What are we doing here? It should have been Dyson Daniels, Josh Giddey, maybe Zoobs. I don't know. Anyway, Dyson Daniels again for the Defensive Player of the Year, along with Draymond Green and Evan Mobley. I reckon Mobley pips Dyson for this one, but I'm so angry. I just want Dyson to win it. That's all I want. Rookie of the year is Zachary Rissache. Jalen Wells from the Grizzlies. He was really, really good. Completely under the radar there in Memphis. And my pick for this award, Stephon Castle. He has been absolutely unreal all season. Sixth man of the year, an awesome array. Here we go. Malik Beasley, Ty Jerome, and Peyton Pritchard. Pritch better have my money. I love this. All of them have been really, really, really good. I love Ty Jerome. I think he should win it. If you followed our picks today in the the Cavs Heat one, I really love Ty Jerome. Go follow our picks over at Dabble. Use that code NBA Australia and see why. Thank you, Ty Jerome. Coach of the year, Kenny Atkinson, JB Bickerstaff, and Ime Udoka. Geez, Jim, that's a 1 seed in the East, a 2 seed in the West, and a team that tripled their win totals from last year. Yes. And Mark Daigneault won 68 games and somehow has completely missed out. Dort didn't make it the top 3 defensive player of the year either. At least they got SGA most valuable player, but J-Dub's not in there for defensive player or most improved either. Clutch player of the year, the weird one, Jalen Brunson, Nikola Jokic, and Anthony Edwards. Is clutch player another way of saying had the most kids in the last calendar year? Jesus, most baby mamas award? Fucking hell. Anyway, Trae Young, I think, also had multiple game winners and somehow missed out on that, and Ant-Man is just there. Anyway, so I would have liked to have seen Gids obviously most improved. I think the Cade Cunningham stuff, I've yelled about this quite literally ad nauseum over the years. I think it's fucking stupid that we've gone, it's a number one pick, he's the most improved player. He was really fucking good. He was always good. We knew he was good. That's why he went number 1 in the draft. It's so fucking stupid. Anyway, otherwise, as I mentioned, Dort not making the defensive player of the year. I think Draymond's candidacy is completely fucking just bunkum. It's absolute bullshit. But he's got a really loud mouth. And this is my big thing with the voters. They're kind of mostly fucking just lazy and shithouse. As I've said time and time before, let me decide the finalists. Let me decide the actual award winners, and we'll be fine. But no, you can have the dumbest people in the world like Perk go, I think Draymond Green the most impactful defense player. And you're like, shut up, Perk, you idiot. Either way, here we are. I'm mostly across the board. I mean, Daigneault's pretty hard up against it for not getting a nod for Coach of the Year, but anyway. Right. Let's quickly go through some game ones from today as well. After we went through yesterday's games, we got way more blowouts even today. Like, at least yesterday we had an overtime game. And then today, I mean, there was one close game, and it was still a double-digit win to the Warriors in the end. So, pretty crazy gear, and they're up by 1 million in that third quarter. Anyway, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies, kicked the absolute shit out of the Grizzlies. Let's start there with the game wraps. Game wraps. 131-80. The Oklahoma City, as you might have heard on yesterday's show, recorded late last night in Lawn, a few tins deep. Your mate Jim going, you know what, I reckon the Thunder are going to fucking shit pump the Grizzlies. Sure, 12 hours later. Actually, fuck, not even 12. It's like 6 hours later. Bang. The Thunder fucking killed him. 51 points. That is the 6th largest margin in NBA history during the playoffs. Now, you might remember the Grizzlies actually put on the biggest margin in regular season history on the Thunder a few years back. This might have felt like a bit of revenge. And this wasn't even SGA kicking the fuck out of him. He was good, but they didn't really need him to do too much. It was an absolutely team effort in fucking straight killing these Grizzlies.
He got straight killed.
They couldn't hit a bucket. Ja Morant had 17 points on 17 shots. They shot 34%. They had 22 turnovers. They were horrible. And for the Thunder, they got 20 from Wiggins. They got 21. 20 from J-Dub. They got 19 and 10 from Chet. They got 15 from SGA. Dort had 12. 14 from Hartenstein. Hello. And they just fucking, it was everybody. They went 17 to 48 from downtown. They just put the clamps on them. Absolutely. They're up 32 at the half. That is just an all-time getting your shit pushed in. Like, it was brutal. Anyway, so the Thunder up 1-0. Moving right along. They won by 51. What do you want me to tell you? Celtics Magic was very interesting. The Magic were actually up at the half, despite having gone down by 12 already. And this was what I was sort of expounding upon yesterday, right? I'm like, I trust the Magic's defense to maybe keep it close. They end up losing 103-87. Why is that, Jim? Well, no one else on their fucking team could score, apart from Paro Banchero, Munchon Bancheros, and Franz Wagner. Hello. Seriously. The rest of the team made a total of 10 shots. The entire game. Derek White hit 7 threes by himself. The Magic, outside of Paro Banchero and Franz Wagner, hit 5. Like, what more can they do? They had like a combined 59 points between the two of them. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, the Celtics just fucking ran over the top of them. 16 from 37 from 3. Ran over them in the second half. That third quarter was a thing of beauty. They just got a sniff, put them to the sword, and the Magic, my biggest fear for them is always going to be, can you score? And their answer today was a resounding, fuck no. No, we can't, Jim. We're cooked. Cole Anthony in 10 minutes was 1 of 3. He needs to be their Derek White, who went off for 30, and he was their version of not even Peyton Pritchard, who had 19 points. Right? They had no one else. Corey Joseph did shit as a starter. KCP hit 2 threes. That was it. Wendell couldn't do much. He had 4 and 13. This is a team that's desperately missing Jalen Suggs, and you're like, oh, this is the very worst version of the Magic you could possibly imagine, and the Celtics took complete advantage of them and fucked them up. Then we had Heat Cavs, which is really, really fun, but again, the shit pumpings continue because the Heat end up getting straight killed.
So he got straight killed
by Ty Jerome. What? Yeah, that's right. They really did. 121-100 in the end. This was closer, and then the Heat just sort of gave up the ghost late and couldn't do anything. You had Donnie versus Davion Mitchell. It was kind of fun, but then the rest of the Heat just did not rock up. Tyler, there goes my hero, was really good in the first half and went absolutely MIA in the second half. They did a number on him. Isaac Okoro just ate his lunch up. Okoro played 13 minutes, went 0 of 4 and played a really good game. You know? But their backcourt, their backcourt rotation, in fact, 30 points for Donnie Mitchell, 27 for Darius Rucker, Judy Garland, and 28 for Ty Jerome. Absolutely slaughtered the Heat. Mobley only had 9 and 7 and was really solid. Allen was really good, 12 and 11. Like, only Sam Merrill, he was the only other dude off the bench to score, but because Ty Jerome was so fucking good for the Cleveland, that's right.
Cleveland!
It didn't matter. They kill him in the end. Great win for the Cavs. Because, like, the Heat are just there. They're always lurking. They're like fucking Freddy Krueger, right? FYI, on the drive home today, where were we? I think on the way out of Lawn. Dude wearing a red and black striped top and like a kind of floppy-ish hat. I'm like, fuck me, it's Freddy Krueger. Like, who wears that? What are we doing? It's Easter Monday, bro. It's not Halloween. Anyway. Yeah, the Heat looked in a lot of trouble. Wiggins turned back into a pumpkin. Bam was solid, but he had the two big fellas to contend with. Hero couldn't do too much. And, like, Davion Mitchell was fucking amazing. He had 18 and 9. I'm going to talk about him later, but goddamn. Anyway, and then finally the Warriors get by the Rockets in a pretty awesome fashion. Like, this was, I had said on yesterday's show, if Houston had have been underdogs, it would have felt much better. But because the Warriors went into this as underdogs, I'm like, their experience, their awesomeness, I kind of think they'll be okay. And wow, they really got up on them, right? So it was like a testament to the Rockets that they kept sniffing around, right? They got down like 20-something in that third quarter, and it was looking very, very sketchy. And then, bang, they got right back in it in the fourth quarter. And then the Warriors, they got that dagger jump shot from Jimmy Butler, and it was all over Red Rover. But, like, once Steph sort of woke up, you're like, oh, shit, look out, Rockets. And the Rockets just couldn't do anything. And this was, I think we had the same game as up on Dabble for this one. And I'd sort of completely steered clear of Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, and Dylan Brooks, and it was for good reason. I just didn't trust them, and guess what happened? None of them hit a fucking shot. I think they hit a total of 10 shots between the three of them. On, what's that? Jesus. 28 and, 43. So 10 of 43 they shot between the three of them. God damn, that is bad. Anyway, so yeah, Golden State's just defensive acumen, taking the likes of Green, the likes of Fred VanVleet completely out of it. Houston being not able to hit a shot in a big moment. You kind of thought like this one might have been lurking, and boom, that's exactly what happened. Whereas Steph is just fucking Steph. He started sort of a bit slow, and then the threes just started dropping, and it was over. Butts has 25, 6, and 7 with 5 steals. Absolutely taking the piss. Pods was handy. Gary Payton was handy. Draymond was solid without trying to kill anybody. Love that for them. Big win, and they go up 1-0 as well. So, now that all the game ones are done, should we go through each of the series and just say, what have we learned from game one in each of these playoff series? So let's start out east with Cleveland against Miami. What have we learned? That the Cavs are fucking awesome still. And I think what I've learned from one game, and remember, when it comes to all of this, it's one game. The series doesn't start until the home team loses everybody. Yeah, no fucking shit. World's most boring commentator. What this one proved was that Cleveland got punched in the mouth. They were pushed by Miami, and they fucking fought back and made sure they put into the sword. This is a very different Cleveland team. That's right.
Cleveland!
I think to what we've seen prior. They were just solid. They were deep. They never really panicked. They'd have these moments where just the shots weren't dropping. They'd get going again and got back up pretty handily. They were ready for the moment, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I learned from game one. Celtics Orlando. What I learned is, again, Orlando need a fucking point guard. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Jalen Suggs, great. But they still need a fucking point guard. If he was playing, do you feel like Suggs would have helped that game today a little bit? Yes, but I think they still would have fucking lost. Suggs next to an actual point guard. Anthony Black might be that in 2 years' time, but for the minute, it's just, brutal. What do we learn from game one? The Celtics, the threes will drop eventually. We also learned that Joey Muzz loves yelling at Jason Tatum. Knicks Pistons, what do we learn from that yesterday? That the Knicks are real fucking good. The way they came back and sort of just ran over the top of them was really, I thought, one of those ones where you're like, oh yes, remember how these guys all played in college together and they were a really fun playoff team last year despite getting injuries, fucking just cutting them down at every chance they had. The Knicks, I think the Pistons are like the perfect first round foil for them, where it's kind of like, it's like literally the older brother holding like the younger brother swinging at him, just pushing his head away and just going, get away, everyone. Because the Pistons are going to fucking try absolutely everything, but they're just not deep enough. They don't have as many dangerous weapons. The Knicks should be able to win this one pretty easily. And I think what we learned from game one is that essentially this should be a really good get-right stretch for the Knicks. And yeah, it's going to be fun. What do we learn in Bucks Pacers? We learned that the Bucks are old and Kyle Kuzma is shit. That Bucks team it's not good. So I picked the Pacers in 5, just saying. Out west, what did we learn in game one? OKC Memphis. We learned that OKC are really fucking good. But we knew that already, Jim. Yes. But there is an almost infinite ceiling to this team where they can just do this to a decent Memphis team and win by 51 without SGA having to drop 30. That is incredible. We also learned that Memphis is sitting there going, oh God. At least we made the playoffs and don't have our draft picks. Fucking okay. Jar, Bane, and Triple J's who we're riding with. Okay. Yeah. I think we might have learned that maybe it's just not the greatest idea in the world to fire your fucking coach just before the playoffs if you're Memphis. Houston, Golden State, what do we learn? Experience matters, I think. I think Houston will be really good for the rest of this series, and I think this was the game one they had to have. You know? They'll be much better for that experience going, oh, fuck. They were so physical with Steph in that game, which is the smart way to do it, but he's also really fucking good. I think the refs will come after him the next game. Houston have to be better. I think they'll learn from that. Email will kick their ass into gear. Game 2 is going to be fascinating there. Lakers, Minnesota, what do we learn? Luka Doncic can't do it all himself. And also, Naz Reid still fucking kills the Lakers. That's what we learned. That was the one thing we sort of just didn't really cover off in the preview. It's like Naz Reid loves killing the Lakers. Anyway. And then Denver Clippers. What do we learn? Maybe it is smart to fire your coach. No. Before this, no. Denver, I still think, came so fucking close to losing that game. You live by the Westbrook, you die by the Westbrook. I think eventually you'll die by the Westbrook. That's how history has written itself out. So just be careful there, Denver. That's what I learned from game 1. It's the trick-or-treat nature of Rusty Westbrook that it's enticing, it's fun, but it might also just get you in the end. All right, let's do some NBA Australia approved performances of the last day.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
And even before we get into that, though, I feel like we learned a lot from those game 1s, right? As I sort of said, until the home team loses, the series hasn't started. Well, they have fucking clearly started. And if you win the first 2 games, the series is pretty fucking hard for the now at home team to win game 3. So I don't know. I'm just saying the series has probably started by then. But anyway, what you saw, what Steph did today was absolutely immense. 31 and 6. He shot 12 and 19 from the floor in the end, 5 of 9 from 3. Just turns it on, hits some insane circus shots. He was fucking incredible. Jimmy Butler, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals, the dagger bucket later. It was absolutely, that's a knife from Jimmy Butler. He's like, you want this knife? That's not a knife. This is a fucking knife. Bang. Ty Jerome completely changed the complexion of that game for the Cleveland. That's right, Cleveland. Whoa. Cleveland Cavaliers. 28, 5 and 3, 5-8 from downtown. He was absolutely awesome. And they needed it. They needed somebody on that bench to step up, and he just went, all right, check this out, boys. Bang, off he went. And poor Paolo Munchon Banchero, 36, 11 and 4. Just almost, it felt like he was out there by himself at times. They're trading 2s for 3s because no one else on his fucking team can hit a 3-pointer. They shot 27 threes. That's 10 less than the Celtics, and it felt like the Celtics were completely discombobulated in the first half, which is why they were down. Their 3-point attempts were fucking minuscule compared to what they usually are. And then the Magic's defense, that's entirely what they're about. They're like, we're going to limit your 3-point attempts, chances, looks, all this sort of shit. And the Celtics went, oh my God, this is what they're actually doing. It's like, yeah, do you guys not scout? What is going on? The problem was, the Celtics eventually hit all their threes, and the Magic, they literally paid KCP to hit threes. He went 2 of 4. And no one else did shit. Poor Paolo. Just pour one out for him. Ugh, it's just so tough. Poor Paolo. Paolo Banchero. Luka was immense yesterday as well, the 37 and 8, but the 1 assist, as I said on yesterday's show. That's what happens. And they did the same thing to Giannis, right? Giannis up against the Pacers, he had 36 and 12, but only 1 assist. And if you sort of limit the great scorers like Giannis and Luka to not be creating open buckets, their teammates clearly not hitting shots, which is why they've only got 1 assist, makes it a lot fucking harder. Right, some good stuff there. Jimmy Butler, incredible. Love that. Ty Jerome, love that. Donnie Mitchell, 30, love that. Steph Curry, awesome, he's 31. How about Spud of today, though? Oh, geez, who was this one? Spud. Spud it is Spud of the night. Spud. We had so many Spuds, but the crazy part was, because there were so many blowouts, there wasn't like too many actual opportunities for like the Spuds to really keep on spudding it up. But Kuzma yesterday going 0 of 5 in 21 minutes, he was just so fucking bad that it was like, It was almost sad, but then you're like, it's Kyle Kuzma. Fuck that guy. Scottie Pippen Jr., 1 of 9. It was brutal. Almost as brutal as Jaren Jackson Jr.'s 2 of 13. 0 of 4 from downtown for Triple J. He had 3 rebounds, which is just remarkable. You also got, seriously, the Houston pairing of your man, Fred VanVleet, the Fighting VanVleet, shooting 4 of 19 for his 10 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists. 2 of 13 from downtown. Absolutely incredible gear. And then Jalen Green as well. 3 of 15 from him today. Absolutely brutal gear. He had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and was just los horrible. God, they were bad, the Rockets. At least those 2 guys, right? It was real fucking rough. Tyrese Halliburton went 3 of 13 yesterday as well. Don't forget that. And somewhat amazingly, he had Rusty getting up 5 of 17, but they win the game. And I believe, somewhat amazingly, nobody went and shot the magic number. So you're all breaking my heart. But yeah, Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green combining to go, 7 of 34 is just, you're fucked. Like, they scored 85 total points today. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the Magic outside of Paolo, Manchon Banchero, and Franz Wagner, hello. Everybody else on the Orlando Magic made 10 shots. Total. All fucking game. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing, Magic? You're breaking my heart. It sucked. Hey, who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? How did Luka Doncic have less help on a Lakers playoff game than he would have when he was playing for the Mavs? That was incredible. He was awesome, and no one else could hit a fucking shot. Old mate, no mates as well, though. I mentioned this the other day. I think I tweeted this one out and put it on the socials. But because we didn't do a show after the 8 seed playing games, the Mavs, when Anthony Davis is like clutching his knee, and they just have that shot of Nico Harrison just sitting there with that stunned mullet on his big dumb face, just absolute old mate, no mates. Everyone going, this guy is the biggest fucking idiot on the planet. And they're right, because he is amazing. Other old mate, no mates today, Joey Muzz going, Jason, get the fuck up, bro. Jason, fucking get up, dickhead. Mate, let's go watch the fucking town. I don't know. Jason, I can fucking see your wrist. It's probably fine, bro. So, I don't know if you saw this, but Tatum goes down hard. It was called a flagrant foul. I kind of think it was a bit of a bullshit one. They just went up to contest his shot. He sort of fell on his wrist a little bit. He's sort of laying on the ground in pain. And Joey Muzz is holding the trainer back going, just fucking, no, just hang out, wait here a second. And then he's yelling, get up to Tatum. Amazing from the other end of the court. And then finally, Steven Adams, bro. How was that today? They literally didn't show, you could see him shooting a free throw in the game, in the background, because they were concentrating on like Steph Curry and Green and like talking about Jimmy Butler. So the broadcast doesn't even fucking care like what's happening on the court in the game. They're much happier to talk about other extraneous shit. It's like, Steven Adams, bro, hit the free throw, son. And it's like, this is an important moment in the game. He needs to hit his free throws. He went 0 of 2, ends up with 6 and 12 in his 20 minutes, does the big Kiwi, and they didn't show it. It's like, how's the disrespect? Anyway, Pantsing Night's an easy one. Yeah, anytime they go, this is like the 6th biggest margin in the history of NBA playoffs. Yeah, that's a pantsing. I'm like, there's literally nothing more you could be doing. That's a pantsing. Who was better than Bronny James?
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
We actually got playoff Bronny, didn't we? How good was that in the first game against the Wolves? You got Bronny out there for 3 minutes. He went 0 of 2 from the floor for 0 points. Both of which were threes. Davion Mitchell was better than Bronny James and Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons today for me. 18 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. He has been fucking awesome for the Heat. And he's kind of like the perfect ideal player for that Heat team, right? Like, comes in with a fair amount of raps on him, goes to Sacramento. And what do we all know that is? A death knell. That's right. For anyone who's like a half-decent prospect, it's like, hey, let's go there. And it's like, oh, did they draft you? Yes, then you're fucked. Like De'Aaron Fox is already out of there. They didn't draft the Souvlaki King. They didn't draft Malik Monk. They're just like, they drafted Keegan Murray, and that dude's entire career is fucking completely plateaued because he's now playing next to DeMar DeRozan. That's what happens to players playing next to DeMar DeRozan. Davion Mitchell gets out of there, lands on the Heat after bumping around. 18 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds in a cracking game 1. 8 of 12 from the floor, 2 of 3 from downtown. He's fucking awesome. That ruled. All right, so good stuff there. Davion Mitchell, better than Bronny James, Lonzo Ball, and Ben Simmons. Oh, how good was this one, though, on the weekend? It's time for our Magic tweet of the weekend. Tonight was one of the Lakers' worst performances this season. They were flat, had no energy, and they played like it was a regular season game. Whoa. The Minnesota Timberwolves dominated the Lakers in every category, winning 117-95 tonight. They were more physical, more athletic, faster, and came up with every loose ball. Edwards was good, scoring 22 points, but it was Jaden McDaniels' offense and defense that made the difference. He ended with 25 points and 9 rebounds. And this is the big one for me. Coach JJ Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job for Game 1. The Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he didn't make any necessary adjustments. And the final one. The Lakers failed in 2 big categories in their loss against the Wolves. On the defensive end, they allowed the Timberwolves to shoot over 51% from the field, and they didn't respond to the physical play of the Timberwolves. Last but not least, it was too much standing around on Lakers offense and players watching the Lakers' big three, Reeves, which is misspelt, Doncic and James, go one-on-one. We need far more productivity from the bench. Thanks, Magic. Oh, that might be the most negative I've ever heard him. That's it. That is literally like me fucking smashing something on camera and swearing my brains out because I'm so angry. Not that I've ever done that, but like that's what this version of Magic's tweets are. That's incredible. Thanks for that, Magic. And finally, Dickhead of the Weekend. Dickhead of the Week! And Trae Young, just way to go out like a Suki bish. That amazing sort of Suki la act that we got the other day and then sooking out of the game for the Hawks was just kissing fingers emoji. It's like that dude is just gives and gives and gives. All right, let's do some quick yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden. This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
All right, let's do some yeah-nahs. I love this one. Scotty B just messaged going, how good? Daniels top 3 in 2 awards. Yeah, nah, fuck yes. This is a really amazing sort of moment for Australian basketball to have one of our players top 3 in 2 different NBA awards. Like, I feel like I should be making more of it than I am. And all I've done last year is say this exact fucking thing, that he should be Defensive Player of the Year and Most Improved Player. So it's nice that everyone's following along. I was all over this from the fucking get-go. I'm stoked. I don't know if he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. We're just getting to that. Should he win Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah, nah. Yeah, he should. Will he? Yeah, nah. Probably fucking not, because most of these voters are idiots. It's why you get Cade Cunningham nominated for Most Improved. Like a fucking... It makes no goddamn sense. But I reckon he might have a bit of a sniff at Most Improved. So, fascinating stuff. Hazard P also had this awesome one from the other day. If Dyson Daniels and Giddey both get big contracts next time round, they will be officially the best ever Australian NBA players. Feels like we've always had bench role players, but never 2 really solid starters. Yeah, nah. That's a bit of Bogut and Ben Simmons erasure from Hazard. Because Bogut was like, he was like a star on Milwaukee, a number 1 pick overall. And then he gets his elbow completely mangled by that mongrel Amari Stoudemire. But still was like a massive linchpin on that Warriors 2015 title team, right? So, but was a star. And then obviously Ben Simmons, a 3-time All-Star, defensive, All-NBA defense, all-defensive team. And like, max player, but then completely got in his own head and was just a fucking and is now just a basket case. But Giddey and Dyson feel like they're definitely on track to be legitimate fucking stars. So he's right about that. But yeah, the really super duper actual solid starter stars, that's a pretty important moment. Like you think about bangers, you think about Patty, you think about jingles. These really solid role-playing starter guys. Bench players sometimes, obviously in Patty's case, a lot of the time. But yeah, Bogut and Box Hill Benny with these, legitimate stars. Daniels and Giddey have a really good chance to just fly by both of them. Anyway, there we go. This is a good one from him too. Do the play-ins actually hurt the playoffs? Do they hurt the playoff product? Because they give the worst seeded, i.e. the worst teams over the whole season, a chance to enter the playoffs. Yeah, nah. He then goes on, because I love the play-in. But seriously, a lot of the chatter you're going to hear in the next right now is that these game ones were a fucking joke. Like, what did I say before? All of the games today were at least double-digit wins. And, some of them were massive shit pumpings. The same thing happened yesterday. We got one awesome cracker of a game in Clippers Denver. And outside of that, Pistons Knicks was close-ish, but that was still 11 points. So out of the 8 games, you had 2 that were close. And really only 1. So it's a bit fucked. Is this a result, though, of the difference between the seeds being greater than ever or something else? And I kind of tend to think that a lot of it's going to be 3-point variance. So you have probably larger margins. And Hazapi goes on to essentially say, if we dug into the series actual sort of, lines, plus minuses, the spreads for the first round matchups, would they be greater? And I'd probably argue that they are. I don't know if it's because of the play-in. Miami's the first 10 seed to get in. And I still feel like they're a much tougher matchup than Atlanta, who were, a lot of us 7-8 for most of this season. So, I don't know. I feel like what we've copped in the first day, first 2 days, the first game one, all the runner game ones, is a lot of threes dropping, as you saw in the Celtics in the second half against Orlando. You saw just absolutely insane shooting in, the OKC game where they just go absolutely schmackaroonies on Memphis, which was crazy. Cleveland get this huge boost from their bench. And then yesterday's games, India, just a horrible matchup for Milwaukee, who don't have Dame Lillard. Detroit are probably not deep enough to keep up with the Knicks. That's a 3-6. And it's sort of more testament to how shit the bottom of the East is, where Detroit are better than everybody below them across the season. And Minnesota, LA, that was just the Lakers not being able to hit a fucking shot outside of Luka. It's a weird one. It's a great question, though, from Hazard. Is it these worst-seeded teams getting into the 7-8 spots that are completely skewing this thing? It's probably to a degree, you sort of look at those 2-7-1-8 matchups that we had today. And I don't know if it's because of the difference in the seeds that really screwed it up, or if it's just OKC is a really fucking good team. So is Boston. So is Cleveland. And then you got the Rockets-Warriors game, and then boom, the underdog wins. So, I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one. Let me know what you reckon. I want to know what everyone else thinks about this first, 2 days of the playoffs. I enjoyed the games, but by the time we got to, Boston kicking the fuck out of Orlando and then Cleveland running over the top of Miami. I'm like, hang on a second. None of these games have been close. Jeez. Anyway, nice one. Miko had a good one the other day, but I think it came in after we taped on Thursday. He's like, hi, Jim, I'm still pissed about Nico. So pissed, in fact, I'm thinking of changing my name. Miko is too close to Nico, and I don't want anything to do with that bell end. Do you think the Mavs will put up some fight against the Grizz? Kind of hope they don't, just in spite of said bell end. Yeah, nah, look, I thought they would. And I feel like they were also like, this fucking season stinks and we're out. Peace, fuck that. But he also goes on to say, Joker for MVP because he is the MVP. Cheers. Time to hit the chocolate stouts. I think the biggest thing that we've sort of come across over the last week is that everyone going, yeah, we're not going to let this whole SGA narrative thing fuck us. We're going to give it to Jokic. We've seen a lot of that. It's going to be fascinating to see where it comes down to. And like the unpopular opinion of the day is,
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I kind of think Jokic is going to win the MVP, and he probably should. As I said the other day, I don't want to look back in like 15 years and go, why the fuck did we give it to SGA? Just because he averaged a lot of points and his team was awesome? Jokic averaged a triple-double. It was insane. And he was the only dude on his team who was any fucking good. Anyway, the other one is I think I'm still behind the play-in concept. I think the last week has been wildly more entertaining because of the play-ins. The problem is the quality of those teams. The top-tier teams, those 1 and 2 seeds who get to play these 7 and 8 seeds, this year specifically, it's really hard to sort of talk about this because 3 of those 4 1-2 seeds are fucking incredible. Boston, Cleveland, and OKC have clearly been head and fucking shoulders above everybody else in the NBA this year. That the 1-8-2-7 series looked like they were going to be steamrollings anyway. And then Houston have the 2-7 against fucking Golden State. And you're like, aha, the exception to the rule, right? That's kind of it. When you've got awesome teams at one end, it's always going to skew the results. So I think over time it'll sort of flatten out and she should be all right. But here's an idea to maybe fix that. What do you reckon? I don't mind this because it's time for OUTBACK Takehouse. It's Monday at OUTBACK. That's right, Easter Monday. And all weekend we've had these awesome bloody chocolate bilbies at OUTBACK. Now, they're not actually, fake bilbies that are like trying to place the rabbits. We've actually managed to capture quite a large amount of bilbies. And we fucking just deep fry them and then dip them in chocolate. And boom, there you go. It is savoury and sweet. And it's bloody delicious. And it's our dessert special all weekend at OUTBACK. That's right. Deep fried chocolate covered actual bilbies. Only at OUTBACK. And today's Flame Grilled take is to give the 7-8 seeds a bit more of a crack against these 1-2s. The 7 and 8 seeds after the play-in should get an expansion draft style option to snag any player from the teams that did not make the playoffs outside of their top 3 protected players. Every other team who did not make the playoffs get to protect 3 players. So you can't go get Wemby, but you can feasibly go get Chris Paul. Or maybe Keldon Johnson. Who knows? Maybe you feel like getting Zion if he's not protected by the Pelicans. He probably is, though, because they don't want him to get hurt. But that's it. Maybe you want Trey Murphy. Maybe he's been protected. Maybe you want Jordan Hawkins. Maybe he's not being protected. You just need a rangy wing. See how it goes. That'd give him a bit of a shot. It's only at OUTBACK. I was thinking about this one on the drive up back home, and I'm like, oh, I don't mind that. You protect the top 3 players on your team like you would in an expansion draft, and the other teams go, look, we need a backup point guard because we're the Orlando Magic and we've got fucking nobody. Can we get Malcolm Brogdon from Washington just to hang out, man? Just come hang out. And then you'd have teams like Portland that are like all these young dudes who are like really, really solid, and you're like, hang on, who are they going to protect? Can we get DeAndre Ayton if he's healthy? Maybe we'll get Donovan Clingan if they're protected Simon, Sharp, and Scoot or something. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Denny Avdija. Just a bit of food for thought. All right, quick Australian Player Watch right after Hammer.
This is Shane Heal, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
All right, Australian Player Watch, as I mentioned, very quick because, tell you what, it was basically Box Hill Benny in the game one against Denver and very little else for the Aussies. So let's start with Johnny Fefe because he got 1 minute in that killing of Milwaukee for the Pacers and didn't register anything on the score sheet. Luke Travers for the Cavs didn't get out there. Jock Landale didn't either. He got the did not play leg contusion. No Jack McVeigh. Jingling Joe Ingles copped the did not play coach's decision against the Lakers. He was the only one on the roster who didn't get out there. And no Alex Dukas either for the Thunder. No Taron Armstrong for the Warriors today. How about Patty Mills? Also did not play coach's decision for the Clippers. But Box Hill Benny did get out there and got a bit of a run round. 13 minutes though. 0 of 1 from the floor. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 3 fouls. And a +5. So, not bad in a game. They end up losing by 2. Remember, we had them at 2.5. They lose by 2. God damn. Bloody Nuggets, what are you doing? Yeah. Bloody Clippers. Norm Powell hitting that 3. So, a bit of a rough one for the Aussies, but Box Hill Benny at least got out there and had a bit of a run round. All right, Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba. Outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. Let's do it. All right, this one is going to go to, I love this. So Jimmy Butler makes his Warriors playoff debut. He's the 4th Warrior ever to start off, or just to have a playoff game with 25 points, 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists, and 5+ steals. The 4th ever. The list is Rick Barry. He did it twice. Steph's done it twice. And my beloved Tim Hardaway Sr., a.k.a. not the shit one, did it once as well. That is awesome. Jimmy Butler does it in his first playoff game for the Warriors. That's fucking sick. What a legend. On you, Jimmy Butts. And the other one is, with his win today, Steve Kerr just notched his 100th playoff win, which is good for 6th, equals 6th all time with Larry Brown, which is absolutely remarkable. Like, you think about Steve Kerr, it still kind of feels like he only just sort of took over the Warriors from Mark Jackson. And, well, I guess we're kind of right because he did it like 10 years ago. Like, it's crazy. 100 fucking playoff wins. And you think about they win, what, 4 titles. They deal with some injuries in between, all that sort of shit. And yeah, he's 6th all-time in playoff wins behind, well, he's equaled Larry Brown at the moment. Behind Eric Spoelstra at 110, Doc Rivers 113, Popovich at 170, Pat Riley 171, and Phil Jackson 229 playoff wins. Phil Jackson also, we could have done a magic tweet about him today because he came from absolutely out of nowhere to have his first tweet of 2025. And just said, again, the NBA test faith by playing multiple games on Christmas and Easter. Sacred days. Okay. That's his first tweet in over a year. As I tweeted out, I think Phil's peyote just kicked in. What are we doing? So, all right, settle down there, Phil. All right, quick Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Luke Longley Award later this week. I've got a feeling that Ty Jerome's probably going to get that one because that dude rocked today. Let's do it. Patty Mills Game Day, but he's actually been out there having a crack with the actual fun shit out there because here we go. There's a Patty Mills awesome Australian. Look at this. That's his incredible mural there. That looks awesome. But most of all, he's also gone out and just like done a massive post about Clipper Nation. A massive thank you to Clipper Nation for your unwavering support. This team is great. This locker room is great. Coaching staff, support staff, vibes are high. We're connected. We've got one goal in mind. And I assume that's to win the title. So Patty's out there saying stay the course. And I'm just saying, it will be very, very cool. The Clippers are down 1-0 in this series. It will be very cool if Patty Mills won another title. Just saying. It would be hilarious Ben Simmons did, because then he could just fuck off and retire, but otherwise, pretty bloody good. All right. Let's do some game previews for tomorrow. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Yeah, good. Happy to be home. Had a great weekend away. The Squids had an awesome time just deleting fucking chocolate. And I deleted some tins, so that was good. I could have actually thrown in a yeah, nah in here as well. Of the teams that lost their game ones, are any of them going to win the series in the end? And my answer is yeah, nah, yeah. I mean, I tipped the Lakers. I tipped the Clippers. They all lost in, I think I tipped the Rockets in the end over the Warriors. So, yeah, there's a couple in there that it could easily turn around. So, anyway, the game twos start tomorrow. So, we start with Detroit at the Knicks. The Knicks are, again, fairly decent favorites, -6.5. How do we feel about this? Because I feel like, as I sort of explained earlier, what did we learn from game one? We learned that the Knicks are super deep. Jalen Brunson is fucking awesome. And Cade Cunningham was pretty good in the first half of that game one. No one else really came with him. Tobias Harris was fantastic, but you've got the one good Tobias Harris game. Like, can we really trust Tobias Harris? Tobias Harris over me! To, like, step up and actually, like, deliver in a game two. Just don't think so. Like, Jalen Duren, severely outplayed. The Knicks bigs, super solid. I think they can do this again, and I kind of think that this is it, right? They sort of just, they get to use Detroit as a way to like sort of just get themselves right, get themselves all pointing in the right direction. I think they win this one pretty handily again. So I think I tipped Detroit plus 7.5 last time around. I'm taking the Knicks -6.5 this time. I think they go up 2-zip. It sort of feels like if they can just kind of clamp Cade like they did, stymie his influence, they're probably going to win pretty handily. Defensively, they were really good, and I think they can do that again. Right? It was pretty good. Like that fourth quarter, they needed it. They probably could have lost that game, but I think this one they'll be a little bit more locked in. Let's go the Knicks. Then we have the Clippers at Denver game 2. Hell yeah! This was an absolute rip snorter of a game 1. And I have a sneaking suspicion that with the Clippers being 1.5 point favorites, they win game 2 because they probably should have won game 1. That was also what we learned from game 1 of that. Jokic is awesome, but I mean, bloody Aaron Gordon hitting threes at big moments. I think the Clippers will turn around and win game 2. I think they're good enough. I think they're just so solid. And I believe that, what was it? There was a stat like the last 4 times in the playoffs, like the Clippers have blown a 10+ point lead. It's been to Denver. I think the Clippers can do it again in game 2, but actually hold on and actually win because they should have won game fucking 1. I don't think Denver holds too much like, I mean, the only way to get the monkey off your back is to beat the monkey with a stick. So I think that's what Clippers do to Denver. I think they get them in Denver. It's going to be a fascinating game, these 2 games in on your Tuesday. So we're going to go the Knicks -6.5 for the minute. Clippers -1.5 in Denver. The 2 favorites, which always feels a little bit janky. I just don't know if Detroit can actually really hang with the Knicks, despite betting them 3-1 in the season series. When it comes down to nut crunch time, this Knicks team is just so good at times. We saw it at times last year, as I mentioned, right? It goes all the way back to college with these dudes. They're just so fucking connected. And when OG's playing like he did in the first half the other day, watch out. And the Clippers, look, I think between Zoobs, Kawhi, Harden was incredible in game 1. I think they're a little bit, I think Denver, look, they pulled one out their ass, didn't they? I think the Clippers might get them in game 2. Anyway, we'll have the drop-off picks tomorrow anyway. We'll see if anything has changed, but either way, that'll do us for today. Hell yeah. We'll be back on deck tomorrow after those 2 games to wrap them up for you for a Quickie Tuesday. As per usual, that's what we do here at NBA Australia every day. all NBA all the time. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya across all the Facey, Twitter, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the socials. You know how to do that. Get around NFL Australia as well. Draft is coming up very soon. Chuck us a rating review on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, your YouTubes, whatever app you're using your Android phone. It does help out heaps, so, help support this little fucking pirate ship. Do that as well if you want to follow all the tips over at Dabble. Use that code NBA Straya. I should have put this in before I read out the picks. But if you go to Dabble, use the link in the show description or the link in our bio, etc. That'll take you through to our profile. You can copy all the bets, all that sort of stuff. All the picks that we have every single day. It's all my vibes for the same gamers, all that sort of stuff. So check it out if that's your thing. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So check out House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Section Green, and Dozers. They're the other bands you hear throughout this show. So smash them all on Apple Music, Spotify, however you support your bands. Do so. NBA Australia supports Australian bands. So should you. And we're going to close out with a very quick Delhi review. Always a good time. So, we'll catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Australia saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And let it hose out! Oi, 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 how the fuck are you? It's your old mate Delhi over here, just swinging by for my latest pop culture review, eh? And I gotta tell you, I was signing with the Kings and all that sort of shit, in the middle of moving, getting the fucking squid packed up, getting the miso packed up and all that sort of stuff. And at the end of the day, it's just been a fucking long day, packing shit up or whatever, and just getting the new house organised. And you're fucking just need to sit down and watch some footy, whatever. And then the miso, she's like, nah, we gotta watch this new other telly show. And I'm like, oh, we just finished this lot, the White Lotuses. And she's like, nah, it's nothing like that. Called Severance. I'm fucking sick. It sounds like they're severing heads and shit. And she's like, nah, it's not like that at all, you dickhead. I'm like, fucking, here we go. And then she's into it and she's like, yeah, no spoils or nothing. We just started season 1. It's fucking your work deli versus your personal deli. And I'm like, this is blowing my fucking brains. Imagine if I had just basketball deli and then home deli. And then I started thinking about that more, and I'm just like, nah, I'm a mess. What the fuck are we doing here, man? I can't think about this. Anyway, so, I don't know, 3 episodes in the first season. It's pretty good. Don't know what the fuck's going on, so... But that bloke from, Parks and Recs is pretty funny. And, so is John Turturros. I love him, so, yeah. Anyway, 22 out of 10 from me for Delhi Ones. It's fucking good. It looks schmick. Directed by my good mate, Ben Stiller. Fucking loved him in, Reality Bites. And those movies, The Night at the Museum, whatever. So anyway, yeah, Severance, pretty good so far. No spoilers. Think it's fucking pretty nuts. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll do us for this time. We'll catch you next week. Later, fuckers. Delhi out. G'day, legends. Your mate Jim from NBA Straya here. That's right. I'm doing a thing at the end of the show. In the business, we call it a thing at the end of the show, I guess. I don't know. Either way, all I'm just saying is just make sure you're rating, reviewing, starring, subscribing across all of the apps that you use for NBA Australia. Jump in the comments, give us a shout. We'll bang you in yeah, nahs. Any other questions? I'll have a crack. I've got nothing better to do, basically. Also, just ask any questions. Tell me what you want to hear from the show and sing out and let us know. And of course, if you want to help support the show, jump on the old Dabble. Use that code NBA Australia. Click on the link that's in the show description or on the socials. It goes up whenever I do the morning vibes, etc. So if that's your thing, jump on there. Use that code NBA Australia. And remember, look after yourselves, would you?